First thing everybody notices about this is my dual outboard jets. I found these on eBay, and they're made by a company called Hankai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. eBay has these every day of the week, and they're fairly cheap in my opinion. The reason I went with two, they're not known for their power, but with being a 4-stroke, I wanted to take a chance on them, you know. I put two on there, so if I had problems 7 or 8 miles away from the boat launch, what's the chances of having both motors quit on me, you know? So, well, we're going to see how well they work out. One thing I really like about these motors so far is they don't have to be far below the boat hull to work out. You want them right at the surface, according to what I could find out online. We're going to find out as soon as I take this out for a test. If you look here, you can see my connecting rod and how I did it. Pretty simple. You steer one, the other one follows. Hey, for safety reasons, I had these 2 tether switches, which I'll tie off to myself when I'm running a boat. These are fairly easy installs. I got them on eBay. Everything's on eBay. It was like they were made for this motor. I'm sure they were, because as you can see, they were mounted here. They fit here perfectly. And if you see right here, you unplug this. This went to the original kill switch, which was mounted right here. I removed it. And there's a little ground here, which you ground to the block at this point here. Or I suppose you could pick it up here, wherever you can find a spot you're happy with. Another thing I added was this Minn Kota tiller handle extension. Basically, it's a bolt-on. All you have is this thumb nut, and it slides right on. Tighten her up, and you can reach it. That way I can slide my seat forward or backward and find a sweet spot, you know, for the trim of these dual jet drives. Another thing I wanted to show you was a lot of people have problems with transom flex because their motors are torquing. Now with this one here, it actually touches the body at this point here, so you don't really have a lot of that. Now, if I find out after I test this out, it does need reinforcement, I'll go ahead and do that at that time. Now, these motors are fairly easy to operate. Basically, they're like a weed eater. I mean, you just have this primer ball, which you pump up until you see the fuel flow from the tank to the carburetor. And you have a choke here, which down is run, up is on. So, that's it. Here, let me show you. I always like to grab it from the top of the motor like this and give her a pull. It's on choke now. One pull and it's running. Doesn't get much tougher than that. And when you want to shut it off, just pull the tether kill and put her back on like that. Now here's a close-up of that connector link I added. You can find this stuff all day long on eBay. Now I'd like to demonstrate how easy it is to steer these two using this handle. Now look at this. Alright, that's all there is to it. Now here's another thing everybody asked me about. This is a port I added in. Now I put these in all 4 corners of the boat. You can see them down there. One up on the left side and one right there. And the reason I firstly did that is to gain access so I could wire the boat. One benefit of this, each one has dry storage, so you can put your tools in there, wherever you want to put it in there, extra clothes, and at the end of the day, you can put on a clean shirt, all right? Now, here's something else I added. This is a smart battery box from Newport, if you can see that. Now, it has charge points. Here's a conventional 12-volt charge point, and then on the opposite side, if you can see, I also have a place to plug in a USB. And then it has 2 circuit breakers, a 60 amp and a 10 amp. And you have the added benefit of a battery test. Now I also added in these cup holders. I added 4 of those in. I found them over at Walmart. They were $2 or $3 each. Wasn't much. But you know, the cup holders that come on the boat are kind of shallow. I thought, well, these would be nice to have. Now here's a couple nicer seats I put in it. These didn't come with the boat. I found these on eBay. I bought a lot on eBay because I try to keep my build costs down on my projects. But yeah, if you got a bad back like I do, you definitely want a nicer seat than what came with them. Hey, check out these dry storage compartments. I can pretty much get my whole forearm down in there. That gives you lots of room for odds and ends. What do you think? Here's another thing I did. I pulled the plugs out of the pontoons and I added 2 of these tie down points. That way I had a place to pull in case I got hung up on a rock and I had to jump out, you know, and hoss it around. Now I just wanted to show you what fish finder I mounted on here. It's a Humminbird Piranha 180. Normally I fish the river and don't really need a fish finder, but when I'm chasing muskies, a lot of times they'll chase in 2 at a time. You'll see one behind your lure, and then one will be getting real deep underneath the boat, and this has an alarm. So I figure if they're under the boat, the alarm will go off, and I'll double down on my figure 8. Here's something I want to show you. I put a transducer mount on the Minn Kota. I also added a rudder. So these things blow around like a leaf from what I hear on the internet. And when the wind blows, so that hopefully that helps with that. And then I added 2 LED lights. Here's something else I added to the boat was a workout mat. Now a lot of pond prowler guys do this, and I like the idea. I mean, when I go out for muskies, the bigger they are, the longer the lateral line, the more they hear, and from further away they can tell where you're at. So yeah, if I can sneak up on them, that's good. Hey everybody, hey, check this out. This is the trailer I'm going to use to haul this pond prowler up the road on. The little red trailer is more for storage around the house, and I'm going to go ahead and tow to the river and to the lake with this one. What do you think? It's 9 foot long, and it barely has any overhang. Nothing to really worry about. I'm going to go ahead and get it tied down and get it ready to go test out in the morning. All right, we'll see you then. All right, this is what we've all been waiting for. Let's see if this thing works. Bit of current in the river today. I got these things running about 3/4 throttle, and I think we're doing about 4 or 5 miles an hour against the current, possibly 6 when I get closer to the edge. I do know that when I slide forward and the jets come up out of the water a little bit, it goes a little faster. If I scoot back and they dip in, then it slows down a bit. Alright, so I'm going to try some adjustments there with the outboards, maybe lift them up a little bit, and possibly put a longer tiller handle on so I can scoot forward farther in the boat. It's going to be a learning curve, and I did build this boat for the drought season. Right now we're a few feet above that, maybe 3 or 4 feet above that right now, so it is fighting the river. Now we're headed downriver. We'll see how fast we can go. We're already picking up speed. There is a lot of current today. So I got one motor running, let's crank the other one up. If I fly too far forward, it starts to cavitate. I do know that. So maybe I'll leave the height alone on those motors and just find a sweet spot with the seat. Here comes an island. Give you some perspective on how fast we're moving. See the sides on the river. Alright, we're picking up speed now, moving with the current. Motors still have a break-in period though. Here comes an island. I moved everything up front to help even out the load in the boat. It'll be a learning curve. Then once the river comes down, these two motors will work a lot better, I believe. Oh yeah, that moves okay. Kind of low on gas already. I think they went approximately 3 or 4 miles, probably 5 by the time we get back. Well, there you go, folks. I made her back. If anybody knows about any type of a performance mod for these Hankai motors, let me know in the comments. I think I'm going to go ahead and res them up, both motors up about another inch or so. You can kind of see where the water line is now that they have some river scum on it. Try to get the jets a little closer to the surface, so that way I don't have to scoot so far forward in the boat. All right, if you have any ideas, let me know. All right, see you in the next video.